Before even starting this video, I'd like to give a disclaimer that I'm sorry I couldn't continue Shittober, which literally left an anticlimactic ending to it. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna stop playing horror games. Pretty soon I'll probably do one that I was planning for the next episode of Shittober. So just wanted to clear things up, and also I got a mic, so
you can hear this voice of mine.
But without further ado, let's get on to the topic. Jesus. Fallout. Well, before rambling on of how I myself believe that, there's always on one game that I think will stay true, and there's this, this is a series that I forever will consider it to be a beloved series to me, even though it's fucking gruesome. Like, it's Fallout. By now, everyone has known Fallout because of Fallout 3 and 4's upbringing. There's something I wanted to, this is like my third time recording, because it's so hard to point out what I'm trying to say exactly, because all of this is all intricate, and it's just really hard to point out of how tremendously put of effort on these games like Fallout 1 and 2, and that nobody else bothers to embrace it and just enjoy it. So I'm gonna clear things up. This is a rant. I guess this is my very first rant. Let's call it a rant. Let's rant about Fallout. I don't know. I'll think of a title. But what I would like to say is that I'll never understand why kids today would never ever take their time to watch or play something that is so profound by storytelling, that they just can't even sit down and just bear themselves, or bear with it, and just actually to encapsulate and to kind of receive a a story to where it kind of really establishes a strong connection to what we struggle in society. A lot of art, what I know at least, is that a lot of art really takes out from reality and kind of establishes it in an artistic visual representation of whatever that person has taken out of society, of what society struggles. There's one good example which I know of. I know we're trying to talk about Fallout, but this is a good example of it. Of a Blade Runner. Blade Runner really foretells a corrupted, decrepit society full of, just soulless flashing advertisements, and just, people that struggle to find the meaning of life, even though there's a lot of things they've done wrong in society themselves. What Fallout tells us is that Fallout on Fallout 1 and 2 mainly, is that it really conveys of how well connected, of what appealing it is to live in, it really establishes how it feels to be in a post-apocalyptic world. And it's really dark, Fallout 1 and 2. There's a lot of things in Fallout 1 and 2 that you would never hear, or you would never have seen in the future Fallout games, which would be Fallout New Vegas and 3 and 4. In my opinion, I don't think you'll ever see, maybe it's a fact, I think you'll never see or hear anything from Fallout 1 and 2 that you'll hear in its future games. Even though New Vegas kind of took a little bit from that, but even though Fallout 2 and Fallout 2 and New Vegas were made by the same people. But anyways, what I wanted to clear things up is that why the fuck do kids wear, they love Fallout 4 because And you know, I don't even think they'll even play Fallout 3 in New Vegas. They love Fallout 4 so much because it appeases to them of how fast paced it is and how it's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking shoot you in the face and grab some caps and just go to the next area, and never really pay like full attention to what's going on, even though Fallout 4 doesn't do that either. And it just and they call themselves a Fallout fan, even though they don't realize when you're a fan of something, you take your whole time into listening, into reading about, you know, the lore, and whether it interests you, that makes it makes you a fan because you're deeply like devoted to looking over of what Fallout is. And Fallout 4 does none of that. Like, right here, like, you can see a lot of stores do a lot of merchandise based from Fallout 4. If there was no from when Fallout 3 was released, there was literally no merchandise. I don't remember merchandise being released for Fallout 3. I fucking swear to you, there literally wasn't until Fallout 4 came out. And what's funny is that here, this is a shirt from Fallout that the developers of Fallout 1 and 2, or just Fallout 1 actually, that they made, and this is literally the shirt for Fallout 1. That's the only merch ever, and I'm lucky to have found another merch, not official merch, but kind of fan made, of a canteen of Vault 13. I actually have it, and I posted it on my Instagram. But that's literally the only shirt, and like, I'm just gonna walk around in my neighborhood with the line of everything else is dead or dying. I'm just like, good morning. From the age of being 9 up until now, around the age of 11 is when I found out about Fallout. And Fallout, I'm gonna be honest with you, and everyone else is honest as well, but we've all started out with Fallout 3, which is fine. And it's weird as well because when we all played Fallout 3, we all thought it was a singular game. We all thought it was the first Fallout, even though literally there's a big ass Fallout, like a number 3 on the game case. But and what's funny is that whenever I mentioned that there was original Fallout 1 and 2, kids would go, "Really? I never do that." But and it frustrates me because what's funny is that after playing Fallout 3, when I was like 12, I found out about Fallout 1 and 2, and I would actually watch gameplay of it, but never getting able to play it because I didn't really have Windows computers. I only had a Mac, so that sucked, and I was only being able to play like console Fallout, like New Vegas and Fallout 3. And what's funny as well is that when I was like 11 and 10, I never knew as well that Fallout New Vegas was released around that time too. So I was like kind of behind, but I kind of like caught up too. But anyways, the thing is that I always see kids walking around with like Vault 111 shirts, and you know, they're saying like, "Yeah, I'm a true fan. I like Fallout 4," and I'm like telling them, "Okay, so you ever heard about that? You ever heard about the story of, like, let's say the Enclave?" And they're like, "The Enclave? Who's that?" I swear to you, I got like conversations of like that, and I literally would have to tell them. They would be like, "Oh, okay." So that kind of is a big ass pet peeve of mine. So that really annoyed me, and you know, the Fallout 4 does a really good job to profiling kids today for not being able to like it's like, for me to see them, it's like it's life-threatening for their mental capacity to read a paragraph from Fallout 1 and 2 in dialogue wise, and I just never understand. They're like, "I don't want to read this boring shit," and just I never understand why. Like, maybe I'm just different and I just like involve myself deeply into it because, you know, maybe I don't have any fucking friends like they say, and maybe I have a lot of time on my hand. But either way, there are people out there who don't have a lot of time on their hands, and they still, indulge themselves with Fallout 1 and 2 or games like that are deeply story involved. And it's surprising. It's really astonishing, I guess. But what I wanted to clear things up is that I'm not enforcing for people to enjoy Fallout 1 and 2, but I'm really trying to like point out of how much effort they put into Fallout 1 and 2. Before you even start saying like you fucking start typing Fallout 4 is a base, you don't know anything, or 3. Here, I'll put it up. Fallout 3, and you're surprised by now how Fallout back then used to look like. There's no fucking first person. There is no I'm just gonna grab this weapon all of a sudden and start shooting everybody. It was literally all just like what it's called turn-based, and it's really a strategic game. But it didn't focus on that entirely. It really focused on, again, like I've been saying for the 5th time in this, that it really focused on story and what it's trying to tell of how shitty like a post-apocalyptic life is like, and a lot of effort has been put into it. And what I like, one that's a really good like example of how much effort they've actually put into. As you like right here, I understand. I know you're like creeped out right now. Like I was creeped out too the first time I seen this, but this was their first like. I don't remember a game back then with having that feature of animated heads talking, which they call talking heads. And I forgot who made it, but that guy who he would mold with clay, would mold like a head sculpture, and he would with a 3D scanner he would like pinpoint these specific areas of the face to animate, and it came out with this. And how much time he put in and there was like, for the whole game, I think there's like 7 talking heads, and how much time he would put in that, all of that molding, all of like the animating, all the 3D scanning was so time consuming, but it was just implemented anyways, and I think that really says a lot. And especially with the other team members of Interplay, that they would spend their whole days, whole like nights. They could be going out. They were like 20. They could be going out like to a club and just getting fucking like absolutely wrecked over like 5 bottles of whatever they drank. But no, they decided. I mean, they're programmers. I don't think they would have done that. Maybe that's just me stereotyping. But they would spend their whole time in the studio working on this project for Tim Kaine, and Tim Kaine is the person you thought it was Todd Howard. No, it was fucking Tim Kaine. And Tim Kaine literally made, and also, which would disclose everything of what I've been trying to say, is that Tim Kaine as well has made a game engine. He made his own engine for this game only, Fallout. And it's so like, in my opinion, I don't see why you have to go through that much for just a game like that just on its own. Like if it was like a continuing thing, of course it has already, but just to put a lot of effort for a game like that, I just never understand. But I for the outcome of it, I think I'm getting like a kind of a bigger picture, but whatever. I think Fallout 1 and 2 will forever be what Fallout is actually meant to be. Sure, Fallout New Vegas has succeeded in what the predecessors have done and lived up to it, but it'll never, it'll never get up to the level of what Fallout 1 and 2 has gave us, and or has reached. And Fallout 1 and 2 really give you the definition of what living in the apocalypse is like. Last year when I didn't really have a computer, like now I do, and I mean I had a laptop, but last year, I had in my old house. I was in the basement. You know, it was a cozy, comfy basement. It wasn't like a decrepit like spider web, and I'm gonna fucking see Pennywise like coming out and dripping me to shreds. But it was a nice basement. It was all pool table and all, and TV and leather chairs, and it was a comfy basement just to clear things up before you say you basement dweller. But so I was playing, in the middle of summer, I was playing Fallout 1 on my sister's shitty college laptop that she gave me when she didn't need it anyways, and I kind of broke it like on the right side of the monitor, and it really got fucked up because I tripped over a charger and it just like fell on the floor. So yeah, it was pretty shitty, but somehow it still ran. Anyways, and I was playing Fallout 1, and it was really hot. Like the amount of effort my fan was trying to like blow never did like suffice of how hot it was. So playing Fallout 1 and just like trying to like sip down on my water, like chug it from how hot and like just how dehydrated I felt, even though I wasn't. I was just over exaggerating. It really did encapsulates, like it really does capture of what post-apocalypse world means. The music, that's one of like the best like the best attribute in Fallout 1 and 2 is the music. Like the music was just totally different. Like I don't remember ever hearing music like that in a video game ever. Like other games, you were kind of familiar with with the orchestral constructed music, and like Skyrim or I don't even know, Call of Duty, sure, I don't know, like any video game, but I've never heard anything like from Fallout 1 and 2. It just really did capture what dread is like, and just it was all depressing. It was a depressing world, and it was with depressing music, and it didn't help the fact that you're trying to fucking survive while you're having this like music going on. So really that's Fallout. Like it just saddens me. It doesn't frustrate me. It does frustrate me, but it saddens me how kids won't ever take their time to like watch or even fucking play a game like Fallout 1 and 2, and just never really understand completely of how special it is. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not enforcing anyone to enjoy Fallout 1 and 2, but I'm saying that you should embrace and understand and at least show some appreciation for it, because just like here in reality, how we appreciate classics of movies, which influenced later on filmmakers to make their movies of what has been influenced from the past. That's literally the same thing with video games. So I mean, but in kids' eyes, video games are just something you would fall, like they see Fall 4 as like, alright, I'm playing for like 10 minutes, this shit lit, and I'm just gonna get off and just pretend like nothing ever happened. So it's sad how hard working Tim Kane's team was to build this and just let it be dusted off, and only us people who enjoy storytelling games, story rich games, and we're the only ones to dust it off and appreciate them. But yeah, I was actually thinking of doing a Fallout 1 and 2 playthrough on my channel, but now that you saw that gameplay, or like you I don't think you would want to like sit through the whole like 20 minutes of me just playing that. So yeah, I understood completely. I don't think I would want to do that even though I would have a fun time, but you're not the one playing, like, so I understand that. But later on, I think of doing a Fallout New Vegas playthrough, so that'll be coming up your way whether you want it or not. But yeah, so this is one of those rants, and I think there's gonna be more upcoming, so so be ready for this good old Mike to just to just like have me heard clearly in high quality voice and be like, fuck all of you guys, you don't appreciate good art. But that's really what I've all wanted to talk about. So just wish, overall, I just wish Fallout 1 and 2 would be shed with some light at least and be appreciated. That's all I really would want. And people just really don't give a fuck, to be honest. But anyways, that's just gonna really conclude all of that. So I hope things are going alright. I guess probably later on I'll do New Vegas like I just said. So good talk. Good talk. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later. Stay shadowy. What I also like to point out is that I forgot to mention, Tim Kaine, leader of Interplay, after they lost all rights to Fallout, it was given to Bethesda with a whopping $5 million given to, and to own the rights of Fallout for Bethesda. And Todd Howard has never, I don't think, has ever thanked Tim Kaine for producing Fallout itself. So yeah, it was like, fuck you, we did it, we all did it, it was our fault. So, but I mean, hey,
It just works, right?